A couple weeks ago, I had a subscriber leave a comment on a video that I thought was super cool. Shout out to @DevilMayCode. He said, "Hey Daphne, I recently found your channel and love your videos." Thank you so much. If you haven't yet, any chance you could make a video on a physician's mortgage loan? I know it only applies to a specific niche group of people, doctors mainly, but I'd love to learn more about it in context of Austin if possible. Yes, and that's why we are here today. I love these kinds of comments. They're super valuable and they help us help you guys. So thank you so much for the suggestion. So you asked, and I'm trying to deliver. Hey guys, I'm Daphne Quay, your boss lady realtor here in Austin, Texas, and I'm here with my good friend and lender, Alejandro Juarez.
Hey guys, hey YouTube. As Daphne said, my name is Alejandro. I am a loan officer here in Austin. I work at a company called Loan People, and yeah, I'm looking forward to having the conversation with you, and hopefully I can be of some help.
Awesome. Both Alejandro and I work with people from all over the country and all over the world who are looking to buy a home in Austin. So if you are thinking about making the move or need help with financing, please reach out. My contact information is in the description below. You could also set up a Zoom call directly one-on-one with me. I'll make sure to tag his information in this video as well, so you can reach out to Alejandro if you have questions. So with that, let's go.
All right, let's do it.
To begin, on a high level, and to answer @TheDevilMayCode, tell us what is a physician's loan. But before we do, let me offer you a Topo Chico who does not sponsor this video. Which one do you want?
I'll go with the blueberry.
Okay, so now that we are settled and we have our Topo Chico, what is a physician's loan? Please speak into your microphone.
Yes, I think the first thing that I would mention is that physician's loan can be everything or nothing special or different at all. It's very similar to that of a jumbo loan in that any mortgage company can call a program a physician's loan, and it may or may not be any different than a regular loan offering. But in general, high level, there are some very special parts of a physician's loan that you should look out for that will identify it as something that's actually like geared towards physicians. What you typically see are programs that offer things like lower down payments, 0% down sometimes. Programs that have no mortgage insurance, right? Which is really special. Even when you do less than 20% down, there's no MI, which is typically what attracts people to those loan options. But then there are just a myriad of differences between one physician's loan to the next. So you always want to ask, if a loan officer or a lender is marketing a physician's loan, is what are those specific features of their individual physician's loan that makes it special? Because all of them are made very, very differently.
So if you were a physician, what are some of the things that you would look for to qualify a physician's loan when you're talking to a lender?
Great question. The first thing I would want to know about the program is, do I even need it? So this is a really important part because sometimes people are attracted to an offering because it's simply called a physician's loan, and I'm a physician, so I must need that loan. And you want to be really careful with that, because a lot of the times you'll find out that physician's loans will often have higher interest rates than standard conventional loans. And so if there isn't something about the property that you're purchasing that would require you to use that physician's loan, you want to be really careful about using it at all. And part of the reason why they do have higher rates is because they're structured around different guidelines. They're not sold the same way as conventional loans are. So they might have different features, like they might allow higher debt to income ratio. They might allow a little bit of forgiveness on the way that we have to calculate your student loan. And because those things are different, the risk profile is a little bit higher, and so generally the interest rates are going to be higher. That's not always the case, but it can be the case. So first identify, do I even need the physician's loan at all? If you don't need it, then be very wary.
Okay, so a follow-up question to that. Let's say we've identified we are a physician and we need a physician's loan. What are some of the questions that you should be asking your lender?
Absolutely. So let's say we know for a fact we already need it. There's some particular feature that requires us to use it. First thing I would want to know is, what is the difference in the par rate or the rate offerings between the physician's loan and what could potentially be just a standard conventional loan, right? You want to know how far the difference is. So if you would have bought a 5% down conventional home within the limit, you know, what is your rate? Let's say it's rate X, whatever. If on the physician's loan, you're looking at that same offering or that same relative structure, is that rate now a point higher? Is it required that it's going to be a variable rate? Is it going to be maybe half a point higher? You want to know how much the difference there is, because that would identify to you to some degree if it is actually a benefit to you financially. Because what you can do at that point is start looking at other potential lenders that have other physicians loans, right? And what those offerings look like. You want to start basically being able to identify, now that I know that I need it, is it an actual beneficial program for me to take advantage of with this particular lender, or should I look at other physicians loans that are being offered out there?
And you mentioned limit as well. Is there a limit when you go with a physician's loan?
That's a great question. There is always a limit, but the limit will vary. Generally, with a physician's loan, the loan limits are going to be slightly higher. Where the conventional loan limit currently is $726,200, it is about to go up, but right now it's $726,200. Physician's loans generally are going to be higher, somewhere around 800,000. Yes, so from physician's loan to physician's loan, from company to company, mortgage company to mortgage company, they could be wildly different, but generally you're going to see that they're higher than conventional loans.
Okay, so and then a follow-up question to that too, with the limit, is that the limit on how much they can borrow or the total price of the home?
It's the limit on the amount that they can borrow.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Because the doctors, not just physicians, but like the doctors that I work with tend to want to be in higher price communities.
Right.
Generally, we're looking probably like in the low millions to about 1.5, more or less, give or take, depending on what stage of life they're at. Okay, so you're talking about shopping interest rates. Why would that be beneficial to somebody for shopping around for this kind of loan?
Right, the reason I bring that up is because one of the most attractive features of a physician loan is that they have no mortgage insurance, right? And I always like to tell my clients, although maybe it's not the best sales pitch, I always like to say that there's no such thing as free in the world. We just talked a while ago about how generally physicians loans interest rates are going to be higher. Part of the reason that they're higher is because they're offering advertising no mortgage insurance. So they've got to find a way to kind of offset that sale.
We're covering a lot of information right now, you guys, and I want to know what's helpful or what other questions you might have on it. If you have more questions about a physician's loan, or maybe you have questions about how a jumbo loan works or a conventional loan, etc., leave a comment. I, number one, really appreciate you guys taking the time to leave very thought out comments that can help our community, as well as just general interaction. I really enjoy interacting with you guys, reading your comments, and seeing what your ideas are. Should we continue? Okay, so you talked about interest rate. Speaking generally, how much higher is the interest rate for a physician's loan versus a regular conventional?
So it's hard to say, but generally you're going to see somewhere around a half a point in difference, right? It's going to vary from situation to situation, but you see around that much difference.
Okay. And don't quote him on that. It really depends on what the market's doing and your down payment, credit, all that kind of stuff.
So many different factors, yeah.
So ish about 0.5. And then you had also mentioned MI a bunch, mortgage insurance. How much is that?
So the mortgage insurance on a physician's loan is going to be built into the mortgage itself, right? Because they're offering no MI, so there's not going to be an actual line item there that says per month. But you have to think about the cost on that physician's loan, because it's built into the loan, means that you're going to pay that for the life of the loan because it's built into that rate. Whereas on a conventional loan, you'll pay it until you hit that 22% equity, and then it falls off for the remainder. That's why that is such an important consideration to have, because you could potentially pay more long-term on a physician's loan, even though there technically is no MI.
Would you say that because there are so many more stipulations on a physician loan and so much more, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like more work that needs to go in to qualify a borrower, is it more complex to go with a physician's loan versus conventional?
I would say so, yeah. That in general, it is more complex to go with a physician's loan than it is to do just a standard conventional loan.
Yeah, because based off of what you're saying, it sounds a lot like a jumbo mortgage, right? And I feel like a lot of times, and you've probably seen this too, but when I have a client that goes with a jumbo loan product, they think the process is going to be a lot easier because they've got a larger down payment, their credit's good, etc. But from what I've seen, it's just there's a lot more moving pieces, a lot more information that needs to be collected, and like more verification that needs to go into the process.
Absolutely. Jumbo and physician loans, to me, they're like cousins. They're very similar in terms of the complexity of the mortgage guidelines that are required. And you could have the best, most ideal client, and it's still going to be tougher because the guidelines for approval are way more stringent.
So not to discourage you as a borrower if that's the route that you're wanting to go, I think it's a really good option, but also know, just setting expectations, it's probably going to take a little bit longer, and there's probably going to be a bit more behind the scenes work than there would be for a regular conventional loan. So I guess kind of a follow-up question to that, since jumbo and physician's loan tend to be so similar, in your experience, in your years of lendmanship, Why do you think that a physician's loan exists?
That's a great question. Two reasons. One, the path that a physician takes to get to the point at which they are a doctor is difficult. It is arduous. And oftentimes you get to the end of that and there's the tremendous amount of debt, right? Or there's a tremendous amount of investment that you've made in yourself, but then there might be limited options for standard purchases. And so a lot of the physician's loans that exist are there to genuinely help people that might otherwise not be able to fit standard conventional guidelines. And so I want to reiterate what you said is I definitely don't want to give the wrong impression that these are not good loans. There's some really freaking amazing physician loan programs out there. But what I want everyone to take away from this is that just because it's called a physician's loan, don't just give your entire heart to it and assume that it's going to be the best route. Really nitpick it and find out, okay, if you're calling it a physician's loan, why is it so wonderful? There are ones out there, but you want to be careful that you don't trust it just because it's called a physician's loan.
No, fair enough. I think that's a really objective way to look at it. So going over all the stuff that we've talked about, it's a pretty multifaceted process. I feel like it's not as cut and dry as I think a lot of people would imagine, but still a really great option if you are able to qualify. Any last words before we wrap up the video?
Yes, definitely. I think physician's loans are absolutely wonderful. There's some really wonderful gems out there. We've used them before with great success for great clients, but also we go through a vetting process of making sure that the ones that we have are going to be beneficial and that there's a reason that they exist. So make sure that you're doing your homework out there wherever you are in the country. If you are being offered a physician's loan, to look carefully at it and make sure that there's definitely some sort of tangible benefit that you're going to experience from it.
Definitely. Cool. That's all the information that we have on physician's loan. Thank you again at The Devil May Code for taking the time to leave such a valuable comment so we could help our YouTube community. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Alejandro Juarez
Bye, y'all.
with Loan People, and I'm Daphne Quay, your Boss Lady Realtor. Till next time. Bye.
Bye.